Hey everybody, welcome. Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio Podcast. Glad to have you here. Hey, look, don't forget, books page on our website under resources. I think you're going to appreciate it. Every book we talk about on our on our shows appears there in case you want to go out and say purchase it. And also the community. Remarkable Results Radio community. If you're interested in joining our community, just send me an email, carm@remarkableresults.biz. And with me is Chris Lawson from Technician Find, a single stop to staff your shop. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Carm. Good to be back.
Yeah, technicianfind.com, a new sponsor for us on Carmcast. Thank you for that, and we appreciate that.
Really excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Hey, look, it's an episode on culture. Oh, dear. Another episode on culture on Carm's show. Why does he kind of OD on that? Because you know that the business, you have a business culture. Chris, every business has a culture. And why we talk about it is because we want you to think and or ask, is it the right one that retains and keeps not only your people, but it draws customers. So Chris, with Technician Find, realizes the impact that culture has on the company he's helping to recruit for. And we know that there's so much discussion out there about they didn't challenge me, they didn't engage me, they didn't train me, the work was unfulfilling. And all of that has to do with the overarching culture in the company. So please, if there's one thing, Chris, and I know you believe this with me, if there's just one thing that someone can pick from this culture discussion that may just be the snap that pushes you to the point where you want to find the culture that's going to enamor your business, we're hoping that this is another one of those tools in our podcast arsenal.
Absolutely. You know, my goal on this podcast, and Carm, before we started rolling, we were talking about this. My goal is to flat out sell you on building a culture. I mean, flat out. It's really important. But the last thing I want to do on this call is to remind you to buy lunch for your employees on Fridays. That's not what we're going to talk about here.
No.
What I came across something, because I'm always reading about culture. I'm always reading about hiring, retention, talent acquisition. And this article just popped out at me. And it was about real world studies on how culture impacts your business. Really tangible. It's not touchy-feely. It's not soft skills. These are actual studies that were done by very well-respected institutions on how developing a strong and positive culture will impact your bottom line. It impacts everything in your business. So that's really what I wanted to come at this from, is a real-world, practical perspective.
So what Chris just said, I love, I'm not trying to explain. What he just said is this. We're not going to be just telling you about this. There's this great article. Can we put the link in the show notes?
Absolutely.
Great article.
Yeah.
40 plus
Everybody should read this.
business. Yeah. 40 plus business metrics affected by company culture, with all the source citations. So whatever they basically say, there is a source that says, here's why it's important. And this is the first time, Chris, talking culture, that we have something to substantiate reasoning behind every one of these ideas. So what's shop culture, my friend?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, like I always like to do, I like to start with a story. This story is a great one. In 2005, David Foster Wallace addressed the graduating class of Kenyon College. And he started out with a parable, and this is one of his most read pieces now. And it's been so successful because it really struck home for everyone. And the parable is about, there are two young fish that were swimming and together, and they came across an older fish. And the older fish said to the younger fish, "Hey, how's the water, boys?" And the younger fish kind of looked at each other and they swam on. And a little bit later, one of the younger fish looks at the other one and says, "What the hell does he mean by water?" And it's, kind of a cute little story. It really speaks to what we're thinking about when we think about culture. Culture is the water that you're swimming in every single day. When you go into the store, you go in, into the shop. That's what you're doing. That's where you are. And what I found is that there really are three different categories that a shop may be in when it comes to culture. And some shops, when I talk with a leadership team or a manager or an owner, and they'll say, "Oh, we don't have a culture." And then I say, okay, that's one category. Someone that doesn't think they have culture. Let me remind you, everybody does have culture. The second category are shops that say, I know we've got a culture, we've got a vibe, we've got a feeling, we do things a certain way, but I can't really put my finger on it. I can't articulate it. And I certainly couldn't explain it to someone that's coming in off the street or explain it to the public. And I say, okay, well, that's great. We can work with that. And then the third category is a shop that says, you know what? We spent a lot of time thinking about this. We know exactly what our culture is. We know how we operate. We can communicate it. We can put it into ads and we can broadcast it out. And I lick my chops when I work with a shop like that, because I know it's going to be so easy. My job's going to be easy. I know that this is a shop that's going to hire a good solid A tech in less than 3 weeks. I know that they're not going to fumble when they get on the phone with someone, a prospective service advisor, or a prospective technician, because they're going to be able to communicate the values. They're going to be able to communicate their story. And by the way, that's what your culture is. Your culture is your story. And it makes everything that you do easier. So that really, in a nutshell, to me, Carm, is what culture stands for and what culture is about.
Hey, look, if you earn your living in the automotive service aftermarket, Apex is for you. Now, if you attended Apex 2022, then you realize the incredible commitment that Apex has to the service professional, shop owner, and technician. Joe's Garage is your place to be, with 10 working bays as you experience real live working conditions, along with exciting demonstrations and the latest equipment presented. Also, the best tech companies from tools and repair to management software had their latest and the greatest on display. You also attended technical business management training with the industry's best and brightest. Work is already underway to make next year's Apex 2023 even better than ever, with more product demos, trending training, marketing, and the latest in business management training to help you grow your sales and profits. Remember, if you earn your living in the aftermarket, then Apex is the expo for you. Continue listening as we bring you the latest from Apex 2023. Save the date, October 31st through November 2nd, 2023. Hey, let's face it, your shop management system is the single most important tool in your shop, period. NapaTrax has made selecting the right shop management system easy by offering the industry's best, most comprehensive SMS. Now, it all starts when a local representative meets with you to learn about your business and how you need to run it. After all, it's your shop, so it's your choice, and having local representation is a huge plus. Customizing tracks to your business, whether you're a one-person shop or a large multi-bay or multi-location company, a representative consults with you to help optimize your shop's workflow, efficiency, and profitability. Trax always has the flexibility to do business how you need to do it, which means it can also grow as your business grows. And unlike the other guys, we'll be there for you after installation with the best training and support in the business. Yes, a learning management system tailored to each role in your company. Simply put, Trax was designed and built for shop owners just like you. Visit us on the web at NapaTrax, that's NapaTracs.com. Chris, I have mission, vision, and values. That must be my culture.
Yeah. Mission, vision, and values that's the old standard. And that's a great place to start. If you've done that work, that's fantastic. The problem is it doesn't go far enough. So your mission, vision, and values it's technically true, but it's missing the emotional juice. And if you're missing the emotional juice, then that's really where the why is. Mission, vision, and values, usually kind of the what and then the how, but the why isn't there. And, there's the old quote, you'll figure out anyhow if your why is big enough. And just as a quick example, and Carm, I'd like to actually give you a couple of examples here.
Absolutely.
Of, something that the way to really juice up your mission, vision, and values. And I'm part of a 20 group, and I've been part of this 20 group with repair shop owners since 2018. And one of the things we do is we read books together. We read a book called Business Made Simple. And Carm, I've talked to you about that before. You've read it. Yeah, fantastic book.
Love it.
Donald Miller's work is amazing. One of the things that he recommends that you do from a leadership perspective is you put together your guiding principles. And your guiding principles is a document, and the document goes over things like your mission, your key characteristics of ideal team players, your critical daily actions, and then two things that really bring in the emotional juice. One of those is your story pitch, is what he calls it. And the second one is your theme. And I just want to read a couple of these. These are two shops that we worked on with this in the group. And here's one that's a story pitch. Now, as you're listening to this, think about how this is different than just your dry mission, vision, and values. So, story pitch number one. Most people don't know a lot about cars, but they do know that when they're without their vehicle, their life stops. When someone finds an honest repair shop that exceeds their expectations and is pleasurable, convenient, and efficient, it can transform their life. We remove the complexity and uncertainty from auto care by educating our customers and taking full accountability for all their automotive needs, because no one should be confused about how to maintain a safe and reliable vehicle. So that's the story pitch. The theme for this shop is, with the right information and support, it's easy to be confident in the choices you make when servicing your automobile. So, very succinct. And the purpose of the theme is to remind yourself and your team why your work is important. Now everybody is aligned. When you're talking about culture, a lot of what they talk about is aligning your teams. Well, how do you align your teams? Well, you give them an emotional reason that their work matters. And then the story pitch is attractive. That's how you attract people in to your story. Let me give you just one more on the side of this is another shop. Most car owners feel like they've been burned by an auto repair shop in the past. Whether they were told something that they didn't need, were charged too much for repair, or had a repair done improperly that didn't fix the problem, we understand that when you're without your car, your life stops. When someone finds a repair shop that is honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, it lifts a giant weight off their chest. It gives them peace of mind to know that they finally have someone they trust to get the job done right. We take the hassle out of car repair by providing the best knowledge and the most reliable service in New Jersey, because every car owner deserves to have their vehicle fixed right the first time so they can get back to living their life. So that's the story pitch. The theme is, when the hassle is taken out of auto repair, car owners get their life back.
Can you imagine me being a technician in the bay, a service advisor on the counter, hearing that and realizing that I have a mission beyond what I think I come to work for every day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the point.
Donald Miller, we've done shows on Building a Story Brand, which is a great book of his, and that I know you are so into in how it has helped you make technician find what it is and how well you do for the clients you have. And then Business Made Simple. By the way, if you go to my books page, it's the second line of books down right on the left. So they're so important to me that those books, the books that really matter, that are talked about over and over again, are always near the top of the list. And that's a little secret for everyone. Great stuff. I appreciate that. So let's kind of jump into this list that you have and some of the key elements. And I think, and I hope you're still with us, I still hope you're impressed about where we're going. And now we're going to land. We're going to land some stuff on you that's going to make you think so hard. Please, if you're driving, watch the road too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I condensed these down because there are 43 of them. So I highly encourage you to go to this link. And there are a lot of things that you can do with this information. You can use this information in your help wanted ads. You can use this information to have communications with your existing team, with prospective team members. There's a lot of things that you can do. But the first one that really jumped out at me was employee retention. A strong culture contributes to higher employee retention rates, reducing the cost associated with turnover, such as recruitment, training, and lost productivity. This was a study they cite by Deloitte called New Research Unlocks the Secret of Employee Recognition. So a big question I always get is, how do we close the revolving door? That's a big frustration, is how do you close the revolving door? And employee retention is a way that you do that.
Go to my website, find the search bar, type in retention, find a whole bunch of really great episodes on retention. We've done some recently, and how critical. In fact, there are some companies that they track a retention rate amongst their team.
Yep. And it's very expensive. I mean, we all know how expensive it is to replace somebody. When they walk out the door, they're walking out with a lot of knowledge too.
So let me remind everyone, these 10 critical business metrics that Chris is going to give you, there's 40 plus. We're going to put a link in the show notes on the website. It may transcribe over to your podcast player. Hopefully it'll be there. But I just want you to know that you don't have to necessarily take notes, but you're going to have access to that once this episode is published.
Absolutely. And the next one is productivity. So positive company culture creates an environment where employees feel motivated, leading to increased efficiency and higher output. This was a study done by the University of Warwick titled New Study Shows We Work Harder When We Are Happy. Go figure, right?
Yeah.
The next one is operating income. A positive culture with engaged workers who care about their organization's success can lead to improved compliance, operating efficiency, and cost control, resulting in higher operating income. These are two studies. One is a Harvard Business Review study titled Proof That Positive Work Cultures Are More Productive. And the next one was from CFO Drive, The Financial Upside of Employee Recognition.
Who doesn't want improved income? And the proof is in those articles as to why it's so important to have the right culture. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And the next one is collaboration and teamwork. Anybody have communication problems between the front of the house and the back? No, that never happens, right, Carm? Collaboration and teamwork. A positive company culture fosters a sense of collaboration and teamwork, encouraging employees to work together effectively and support each other, achieving of common goals. This is a Stanford Graduate School of Business study titled A Better Way to Think About Organizational Culture.
How many times have I ever gone home and saying, God, I wish the team was more together? I was, in some cases, responsible for that. And, I'm doing deep reflection. In some cases, I wasn't. And I always wished that my supervisor was willing. And, yes, I own my own business, and I did have a lot of responsibility and a lot of reports. But there's an evolution of everyone's life where you evolve into the role that you work on playing, or you are. And in my particular case, I remember some situations where I needed team more.
Absolutely. It's really interesting. I just finished a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. It's by Benjamin Hardy. And he talks a lot about how you develop your business and grow your business 10X. And it's a phenomenal book if you want to pick it up. And one of the things that he talked about was, it's interesting when he starts talking about people, business owners that are scaling. And business owners that are scaling spend more and more times on themselves than they do on the business. So they develop their own leadership skills. They develop their own mindset. They join high-end mastermind groups. It's very interesting because you almost have to work on yourself almost as much as or even more than you work on the business, because it's your mindset and your thinking, the quality of your mindset and thinking, that's going to get you to that next level. So it's very interesting to think of it from that perspective.
We'll throw 10X on our books page. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great one. Really good. The next one is employee loyalty. How many of us would like to have loyal employees? A positive company culture fosters a sense of loyalty among employees, increasing their commitment to the organization and reducing the likelihood of turnover. There's another one. Likelihood. This is a Gallup poll. Employee engagement on the rise in the U.S. If you've ever had somebody jump ship for a couple dollar raise and a $5,000 sign-on bonus that never materializes, that's something to really consider, the employee loyalty factor.
One of the recent episodes that we did, it was David Asquith from AutoStream, who said our goal is the highest wage in every market that we are serving. And that means that they had to have strong policies and procedures, and of course, team and culture and profits in order to do that. And part of that, they know, is why the retention rate is so high, which equates to loyalty.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. The next one is ethical behavior. A strong company culture fosters an environment where employees feel encouraged to act ethically and with integrity, which can have a positive impact on a company's reputation and long-term success. This is a study called Ethical Systems, Company Culture Assessment, and then there's another study they cite. It was a Harvard Business Review study titled How to Design an Ethical Organization.
Do right for the customers, do right for your people. Wow.
Yep.
Goes without
Win-win-win.
Yeah.
Yep. Win-win-win. The next one is talent acquisition. So a positive company culture attracts top talent, as job seekers are more likely to choose organizations with strong values, a supportive environment, and a reputation for employee satisfaction. So there were two studies that were cited for this particular point. One was a Glassdoor study, how to recruit informed candidates at scale. And the next one was a LinkedIn study, Global Talent Trends 2020.
You must love this as a recruiter for people to find a company that has all of these qualifications, but it just makes talent acquisition so much easier because people want to work for companies like this.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we don't, I think there's a certain point where we've almost given up. And because we've given up on finding people, we don't improve ourselves and or our company. We spiral.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. A big thing that we have to do sometimes is break mindsets and create possibility for our clients. I get on the phone all the time when we're doing onboardings and I'll ask, so how long have you been looking for this tech? I get answers like 20 years, 15 years. I had one shop owner tell me the other day, he said, oh, as long as I've been in business. It's almost getting to that place. And some of them, I think most of them are saying, you know what, we know they're out there. It's just, we've got to change our approach in order to get it to be more effective. But some you can tell, it's like, they think I know that I'm not going to get it. I've got to do something else so that I can prove to myself I'm taking action. But just know when you talk to them that they don't believe it's possible. And, we know the power of belief and the power of mindset and how this affects everything that we do, including our actions.
So how does my culture attract top talent, Chris?
You know what? There are a lot of ways that it does. One is, I mentioned earlier that you can always tell when a shop owner is confident and they're talking about their shop.
Bingo.
And confidence is something that it's attractive and it's contagious.
It shows through, it shines through.
It absolutely does. And A players want to work for A players.
Yeah.
A players want to work for people who are winners, who are leaders. And that comes through. And that is the biggest part about it. And the other part about it is it's word of mouth. So when you have a strong culture and you take care of your employees, and everybody that's listening to this knows this, the tool truck guys are be telling everyone, your employees are telling their friends. I mean, it goes through the grapevine and everybody knows. And then so when you do have a position that's open, it just makes it easier for everybody's heard of you, and it makes it easier to have the conversation. It's almost like it's kind of like rolling out the red carpet in front of you. It's producing this type of, the old saying, your reputation precedes you.
Yeah.
Well, a good reputation precedes you and a bad reputation precedes you.
And you've done enough interviews in your life to realize that if you're the owner of the shop, you've got a great culture, you're speaking to this candidate in an interview, and you're exuding confidence, answering the individual's questions, asking so many open-ended questions, and then you're assessing, is he going to fit into our culture? Because the worst thing that you want to do, that you've built it to be so strong and so positive, is to have any part of that tree let it fall down.
Absolutely. You do not want to have a mishire. That's another really important thing that I hear all the time is I'm afraid of hiring the wrong person, or I'm afraid of hiring the wrong person and overpaying the person that we hired. So those are big problems. The next one is employee satisfaction. A positive company culture contributes to higher employee satisfaction as employers feel valued, supported, and engaged in their work. This is cited by a Gallup poll called Employee Satisfaction Doesn't Matter. And here's another one. Reduced workplace conflict. How about that? Strong company culture helps to reduce workplace conflict by fostering a sense of shared values, meaningful personal relationships, clear communication, and respect among employees. They cite a Harvard Business Review study, How to Preempt Team Conflict, and a Forbes magazine study, How to Resolve Conflict in the Workplace.
In fact, that is so true. How to resolve it. It's going to happen. There is no doubt we're all human. We struggle. Life isn't always as easy as we think or want it to be. And so but you have to be ready as the leader to be able to deal with people. And I think an open ear and a lot of empathy, your level of emotional intelligence is going to help you be able to reduce workplace conflict. It's a great, thank you for bringing that one up.
100%. 100%. And then the last one is retention of high performers. A strong company culture helps retain high-performing employees as they feel valued, engaged, and motivated to continue contributing to the organization's success. This is a Gallup poll, how to keep high-performing employees engaged and motivated. Those are
Wow.
just the
I mean,
top 10.
yeah, you picked 10 great ones out of what, 40, how many are?
43. There are
Yeah,
43 of them. Yeah.
43. When you look at all these, when you click on the link and you go to this article, employee wellness, business agility, decision making, crisis management, employee empowerment. Wow. There are so many. And you know what? When I looked over this list, I said, every one of these was a slam dunk, Chris, as far as could I relate to why each of these points are so critical to the success of my company, call it our culture.
Yep.
And to me, if you were struggling to find the culture and you printed this out, instead of attempting to be the greatest consultant in the world in front of your people, print this article, print these highlights, and just sit with your people and say, hey, we got a project and it is Culture 101 in our company. Let's go. Let's just take 3 of these each and every week, every Friday morning. Let's go through this and it's kind of like when you share with your team, hey, did I ever tell you the reason that I started my place 20 years ago? Tell you the dream that I had. Did I ever share that with you? Can I do it again? And to me, if someone can appreciate why you come to work every day or why you continue to build such a great company, says, man, we're doing this because this was his dream and he's helping me with mine.
Yes. Yes.
He or
100%.
she. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. I think we finally may have a textbook list, if you will, on how. Because I've
Yes.
been really hot lately, Chris, on trying to do podcasts that there's, like you say, there's always the why I would do thing and the what would I do, but not the how. I think this is a great how episode on building your culture.
Absolutely.
How can you any recommendations on how a shop can build their own culture, except for what I just said?
Yeah, actually, what you just said, I think, is fantastic. I also, again, I just can't recommend highly enough Business Made Simple by Donald Miller. Just complete your guiding principles, even if you've done your mission, vision, and values, which I hope most of you have, your guiding documents. This is going to help out tremendously, and get your team involved. That's really important. One of the things we do is on our onboarding calls, we do little mini shop culture audits. And it's just a series of questions that we ask to get you thinking about, from a 30,000-foot view, what your shop culture is all about. And actually, this is such an important topic. I met somebody who used to he's called what is a culture architect. He's done culture seminars for Fortune 100 companies. And I'm actually going to team up with him next month, and we're going to do a little webinar. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about engaging your people, aligning your team, finding A players, attracting and retaining quality talent, closing the revolving door, aligning mission, vision, and value of the shop, open communication, all that good stuff. This is so important that I want to bring that out to my clients and everybody that would be interested, so that they can get a really actionable plan together to do it.
Thank you for that. I look forward to seeing that announcement. So let's talk about the fact that maybe you work with Chris, maybe you don't. Maybe you're looking for a company to help you with the stress of weightlifting for a new team member, be it a service advisor, be it someone from the office, or be it a technician. If you're going to go out to get a service to help you with it, every one of them is going to say, I got to know about your culture. I need to know what I'm hiring for. I understand you're hiring for a technician. I understand you're hiring for a service advisor, but what are they going to work for? What kind of team, what kind of culture, what kind of attitude, what kind of ultimately culture? So that's why I guess I continue to do these episodes, and we constantly look for that one little, if you will, stick that when you walk over it, bam, it's going to snap and it's going to say, I finally got it. So hopefully there are enough benefits coming out of this how-to episode and this article that you need to go to. Chris, thank you so much for bringing this. Business metrics affected by company culture. And ultimately, all of these are steeped in real science that they've come up with. You know what? This is probably the quintessential culture episode that I could steer people to have them appreciate what it really means. Yeah, we need to help you figure it out. I get that. But what's the result of this really great culture that you're building? And that's what these 43 pointers will show you. And basically, if you do all this stuff, then you'll see why it all benefits your company.
Yes. Take the steps And just one more thing, if I can add, Carm,
Please.
I think that from a practical perspective, from my perspective and what I do, is these are the type of ideas you want to have in your ads. So what most shops do when they're writing an ad is they're going to take a template and then they reconfigure the template to match what they want, and then they post a template. Well, those are what I call warm body ads. If you reconfigure a template, then it's going to get you a warm body. If you're looking for right culture fit, what you want to do is you want to get your culture points, and this list can give you a lot of really effective culture points. Put them in your ad. Actually write these things into your ad. It's going to make your ads look a lot different than any of the other ones that you're going to see on Indeed or ZipRecruiter or any of these other platforms. And it's going to actually attract a higher caliber of employee that would be a better culture fit. The more you do a good job of talking about your culture and what you have going on, the better you're going to be able to align with somebody who would be a good fit for what you have going on. If you have a generic ad, you're going to get a generic candidate.
I love it. I'm looking over these 43 points right now, and I could see how you can develop an ad by taking the words customer satisfaction, ethical behavior, employee loyalty, collaboration, and teamwork, and slice them into a couple of sentences. And that's going to spark the individual. I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for a place that I can go and have a career at.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Chris Lawson, technicianfind.com. A single stop to staff your shop. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Always.